Hello everyone, welcome to our new episode of Talk Show on Career Guidance. Myself Raj Sharma and I will take you to the practical dimension of education. Some of our viewers might be aspiring for higher education. In this talk show, we'll discuss what kind of higher education can give you the real empowerment. So today among us, Dr. P.K. Misra is here as an expert. So let's introduce Dr. P.K. Misra. Dr. P.K. Misra is the Vice Chancellor of Kaziranga University. He is the founder professor of KIIT University. He is an educational entrepreneur, and apart from that, he has penned down several books. So Dr. Misra, welcome to the talk show.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for inviting me to the talk show for a very important topic like this.
Thank you so much. So kindly guide our viewers that what kind of higher education can help them for innovation, startup or either entrepreneurship.
Great, Raj. You see, if I can say so, today is the era of the technology. Technology is dominating or impacting each and every part of our life. So higher education cannot escape that trend. Now, if we go back to history, the first technological revolution, which is called Industry 1.0, that started in 18th century. It was the era of steam engine. Then the second industrial revolution was Industry 2.0 in the 19th century. It was electrical energy and mass production. Then it was Industry 3.0 and in the 20th century. And Industry 4.0 emphasized on use of IT in a big way for manufacturing processes. And today it's the era of Industry 4.0. And when I talk about Industry 4.0, it gives emphasis on futuristic technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, quantum computing, 3D printing, which is called additive manufacturing, such type of
AI.
AI I told you already, artificial intelligence. So these are the technologies that's going to influence each and every process of business domain. It might be medicine, it might be healthcare, it might be agriculture, it might be manufacturing, it might be automobiles, anything. So today the higher education system should be more geared towards integrating such futuristic technology into the curriculum, so that students are in tune with the requirement of the industry of the world. This type of technology education or this type of technology imbibed education, higher education system will help the students of today to not only aspire for jobs in the high-end industries, but also to empower them to start startups and venture into entrepreneurship and try for innovation. You see, today it's a very changing economic world. If we take our memory to maybe independence, we got independence around 70 years ago. So during that time, if you see maybe 2 decades before independence or 2 decades after independence, the higher education system was mostly focused towards giving generic liberal arts education with small islands of excellence in technical education. And the purpose was to educate students so that they can get government jobs. Mostly it was to serve the governance. During that time in the developed countries, the more focus was towards technology education. Today you might have heard about a terminology called STEM. It's called science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Even STEM education is a focus in all the K-12 education system in the developed countries. So what is the purpose? The school education is also now oriented towards science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So the world is looking into higher education in a different way. This has to be technology based education, and technology based education can only happen if the higher education institutions work in connection with top industries, top industrial house. This norm was not there in India earlier during maybe last couple of decades, and in present time this type of education is gradually coming up, and this will empower the students in a big way
to become an entrepreneur?
To become entrepreneur. Because entrepreneurship today, startup today, innovation today depends a lot on such futuristic technology. That's the way the education should be imparted, and students should be exposed to such type of technology based education. And as I told, I repeat, these technologies have application in each and every sphere of life, each and every sphere of business domain. Even in healthcare, the healthcare will be dominated by such technologies like artificial intelligence in a big way in coming years to come.
Okay. So this is the beauty of this kind of higher education. So while practically talking about startup or innovation or entrepreneurship, so some amount of capital will be required. So how students will manage, or are there any government scheme provisions are there?
Yeah, it is a very big question. Rather, it's a very difficult question to answer straight, but I will just attempt it like this. Now, typically for a startup, as you told, we definitely need capital. But world over, the culture is anybody who is interested to start a startup, he starts a startup in a very small way. You might have heard about big companies like Apple, Microsoft, everybody has started from a garage. So you do not need huge capital to start a startup in the beginning. So you can borrow money from your family, from your friends, and start something and create a prototype. Your idea should mature into a business model, and then you go to angel investors, venture capitalists, and today, contrary to what was happening maybe 2-3 decades before, there are large number of angel investors, venture capitalists available in the country, and through them you can also reach to the globe to attract funding.
Okay.
So if you have the desire, if you have the capability to take risk, you see, funding is not a problem. It's not easy at the same time, but funding is not a problem. There are many organizations available and many individuals, high net worth individuals, like founders of Infosys. They are now helping in a big way to startups. Okay. So if you have the right attitude, right intention, and prepare to do the hard work, exposed to the technology, and also have the risk-taking ability, and you have a desire within yourself that I will be a job creator, not a job seeker, then I think the world is open for you. Okay. You can have funding and everything.
Okay. In fact, government also
yes, absolutely
emphasizing on it.
You
like
see
startup innovation,
startup India, and
startup
even
India.
Our government of Assam Startup Mission, government is also in a big way promoting this culture of startup, so that there are many entrepreneurs, and they will help in creating jobs for others, so that the whole economy of the country and the state will
I heard that banks are also providing loans through this.
Yes. So in a consolidated way, let me present this way. For funding to startups, you have government system, they can approach to the governments, they can go to the banking system, they can go to the angel investors, they can go to venture capitalists. So there are many ways of funding. And when a startup is approaching for funding, he has to evaluate the pros and cons of each and every funding agency, and accordingly try to find out which is beneficial to them. But typically, if you see in the developed countries like US, Europe, and Australia, so the startup or innovation entrepreneurship is supported in a big way by angel funding or venture capitalists and the private entrepreneurs or private sector.
Okay.
So that culture also, as I told you, many successful entrepreneurs of this country, they have come up in a big way to help budding entrepreneurs by extending their help, not only funding, they are also mentoring the startup entrepreneurs, so that whatever idea they are having, they exchange their idea with such experienced entrepreneurs, and also they get the mentoring support for their success.
Okay, some light moments. Can you share some success stories, or either your experience or something?
Yeah, let me if you allow me, let me give the example of the university that I am representing now. You see, that university is started by one of the largest entrepreneur house from Assam, the Khaitan Group. So when they thought of giving back to the society, so they thought that education is the best medium to give back to the society. And this Kaziranga University is a corporate social responsibility of the Khaitan Group. Now what is the outcome? I call this is an entrepreneurial venture in a non-profit way. What is the outcome? You see, this university was established in 2012, and today this university has given direct and indirect employment to maybe 500 people of Assam and Northeast. I feel this is a great contribution to the society.
Okay.
And if such entrepreneur, it's in education. And I have come across many successful entrepreneurs from Assam, people having excellent academic background from IITs, London School of Economics. They have come back to the state and started good entrepreneurship ventures.
Okay.
And this culture is coming up in a big way, and I believe these are the way society can grow.
Okay. So is startup can be varied for boys and girls?
Again, you see,
Can be entrepreneurship can be varied?
entrepreneurship is a concept, it's not gender centric.
Okay.
Anybody and everybody, even physically challenged people are coming up as great entrepreneurs. You see why there will be difference between boys and girls. Today girls are pilots in the Air Force. I will take the name of couple of ladies who are world leaders in entrepreneurship or in the corporates. Think of Indira Nuyagi, the chief of Pepsi. She is a lady from India. She could head one of the largest MNC in the world. Think of Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, one of the largest entrepreneurs in the biotechnology sector. So there are many. And if I can say so, the girls are more enthusiastic and more creative. They are coming up in a big way to enter into the world of entrepreneurship and startup.
I agree with you. I still remember Javed Habib, being a boy or being a gentleman, he started a entrepreneurship that called Javed Habib's own salon chain. Now he's a big entrepreneur in India amongst.
Yeah, Javed Habib.
Javed Habib.
So you see, when you told about gender, so Javed Habib he has trained a large number of boys in this business of beauty parlor or salooning.
Right.
And you visit any salon of Javed Habib, you will see young boys, they will be engaged in the hairdressing of girls. And even the same way. So gender discrimination is an alien word today. We should not discuss about gender discrimination also. Everybody is equal, rather girls are coming up in a much better way to dominate every sphere of life in the society.
Okay, proceed to the next question. What are the emerging trends that can give more entrepreneurship?
You see, from my personal experience, I tell healthcare, agriculture, these are two emerging sectors where there is a lot of opportunity in entrepreneurship, and students should think of applying those technologies into healthcare and agriculture so that they can be successful entrepreneurs, and there is a great opportunity in these two sectors, including many sectors as well.
Okay. So what are the specific skills required for to be an entrepreneur or to be an innovator or to be a creator while he is studying higher education? What kind of specific qualities are required?
So you see, as I told you, in addition to technology, one should be exposed to the financing principles and also the managerial abilities. So I think technology, financial management and managerial ability, these three things in combination with the risk-taking ability will make a great entrepreneur.
Okay. So just explain some more few things. Can we add some more so that
with respect to what you tell me? So let us go back to our education system a bit and how I can relate it to entrepreneurship in a big way. So now you see, if when somebody is aspiring for higher education, right? What is the best institutes coming to his mind? The institutes are IITs, NITs, IIMs. So usually anybody who is interested into higher education, the first thing is they will be interested in high-end technology institutes. So that's the reason technology plays a great role in the society in a big way. So our whole education system, as I told you, the transition should happen in a much bigger way. Each and every educational institute in the higher education system, they should have a strong component of skill or technology education, so that students from day one, when they enter into higher education system, they will be interested to at least know what is the technology, then venture into that technology. The higher education institute should open up the door for the students to the world of entrepreneurship and startup.
Okay. So desired qualities you require key leadership, and you mentioned
the another soft quality, as I told you, it's a risk-taking ability. So it is easily said than done. it might sound a bit negative, but let me tell you, large number of startups, there is a possibility of failure. But that doesn't mean when you are failure in a particular startup, you will stop there. You can think of another startup. So risk-taking ability one should have. That is the greatest criteria of a somebody who is interested
to be an
in
entrepreneur.
To be an entrepreneur or to start a startup.
Okay.
You see, gradually it's nothing is going to be easy. Earlier we had a mindset, you do some good education, get a government job and be comfortable in your life. But that world has changed. Even in the government job you need to be creative today. Even the job that requires an entrepreneurial mindset for somebody who is entering into a job. You have to be creative, and it has become a lifelong learning process today. You see, earlier what was happening? Once you complete your education, you join a job, you stop there. But today, the way world is moving, you cannot just afford to think that you have completed your education process. Every day you have to learn new things, and every day it's a challenging world for you. And you have to compete. Like for example, I am the chief executive of the university, but at times I have brilliant professors in the university. They are probably much more knowledgeable than me. Young people, how? Because they have come up from a system which is more modern in nature with respect to technology, with respect to business ideas, with respect to leadership and everything. So if I stop there, I will not be able to face them. So not only for the young professors or faculty members, it's for leaders like us also. It's a lifelong learning, and it's a global world today. So whatever we do today, we have to do keeping in mind what's happening in the globe. The communication medium is so fast.
We have to be attached with the world.
We have to be. There is no way out. You see, during our time, when I was doing my research, I had to go to a library months together to search for journals and everything. Today, at the click of the button, you get all those resources. It's available.
Right.
So it's fast, it's challenging, it's tech savvy. You have to keep pace with the system, and an entrepreneur mindset is the only way that you can compete with the world. Otherwise, you are non-existent. This is the challenge, this is the opportunity, and probably the brilliant people that we have in India, if they are given this opportunity or the exposure to such technology education, leadership qualities, risk-taking abilities, they should be told about entrepreneurs, how they have progressed. And you see, I'll tell you another thing, interesting thing. 10 or 20 years before, when we thought of industry, it was like huge set of big area, then manufacturing units,
Exactly.
so something physical infrastructure. Now, what is the industry? One of the largest industries is probably Uber or Ola. They don't have physical asset with them. Google, the largest, one of the largest company in the world.
Oyo rooms.
Oyo rooms, yes, exactly. So without any physical assets. You see how the concept of entrepreneurship and industry is changing. Nobody could have thought of that companies like Google, WhatsApp, Oyo, Ola, or Amazon,
Yes.
they will dominate the world of
Yes.
entrepreneurship. and
Ola or
business.
Uber, they doesn't have their own car even.
Yeah, they don't have their own car.
Oyo doesn't have any single room. even.
Absolutely correct. So this is the way the industrial world or business world is moving. And maybe something different will happen 10 years to 20 years down the line. We may be talking something today, but we don't know what is going to happen 20 years down the line. So what's the best way? You keep yourself educated with respect to the communication medium and with respect to what is happening outside the world, out in the
Yes.
world.
Something different, right?
Something different. Now,
Something
the
different,
most
right?
important is, you see, you have to keep on learning. You have
Exactly.
to learn what is happening. You just cannot sit idle. Every day the technology is moving so fast. What we are discussing today, maybe if 1 month down the line we again discuss, something different will emerge. So how to cope up with that? And everything is happening for our own benefit. Think of the revolution in the mobile technology. One mobile device will be catering to all our needs connected to the cloud. IoT is going to dominate the whole process of our life. Think of manufacturing. Today what's happening? Designing is done in one country, manufacturing is done in another country, storage is done in another country. So it's now a virtual world.
Right. So these are the qualities you mentioned. It should be risk-taking ability.
Primarily,
risk-taking
it's
ability.
technology. So students should be exposed to modern technology.
Learning.
Higher education system should have a strong component of technology. It might be any education. It might be health science. It might be agricultural science. It might be medicine. It might be engineering. They must have a strong component of technology education. And technology which is being developed by industry, which is being developed by research laboratories. And they should be exposed to modern technology.
Yes.
Then risk-taking ability.
Risk-taking ability.
They should have a strong understanding of financing principles, like what is angel funding, what is venture capital, how we are going to avail banking finance, what is the support system of the government, who are the mentors in a particular sector who are going to help us in realizing our ideas, and finally a risk-taking ability. You should be prepared to take a risk.
Leadership also equally important.
Leadership definitely.
Yes.
Leadership
because you have to get it done by others.
Yes.
All right. So can you suggest some great institutions that are available in India for higher education, this kind of higher education you mentioned?
Primarily, definitely IITs, NITs, IIMs, and I can add here that nowadays all the technology institutions, they are having a
Please explain.
Yeah, they are having an entrepreneurship cell in all the technology institutes, and I will take a name of one of the topmost institute in entrepreneurship called Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, EDII, and you have one of the great institute in Assam itself, Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship. So the technology institutes like IITs, IIMs, and there are some research-based science institutes like IISER, NISER. Okay. So these are top-level institutes in engineering and science. Coming to medicine, of course, you have top medical colleges in the government sector, and also agricultural universities. So these are the sectors: agriculture, medicine, technology, and mostly majority of our students, if you divide on the basis of percentage of students going for higher education, the majority of students are going to engineering education, because the opportunity in engineering education is comparatively high with respect to whether it's entrepreneurship or jobs or anything. So I told you these are IITs, NITs, and these are top level institutes.
Apart from that, any education system is there who can give you the entrepreneurship abilities for conventional courses like arts, science?
Yes. And that's again a great. You see, when I emphasize in technology education, I don't definitely undermine the importance of liberal arts. And in liberal arts, there are programs like social work, economics, public administration. So these are also very much importance. And when I told about social work, right? In the social work itself, in the higher education and social work, there is a component of social entrepreneurship. So now the whole social work education is also now oriented towards creating social entrepreneurs rather than pure academicians. So in each and every, whether it's liberal arts, technology education, I repeat again and again, each and every course of higher education is having a strong component of entrepreneurship in it. As I told you, social entrepreneurship.
So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So hope our viewers will be benefited by this talk show. There's a very good quote in Hindi. Life is like science. जीवन विज्ञान की तरह होती है. जितना एक्सपेरिमेंट करते जाओगे उतना अच्छा रिजल्ट मिलेगा. So try your own startup today. Till then, all the best for your future. Thank you for watching.